A lot of people have been wondering when the next federal election will be. So to help answer that question, our political expert, Rachel Aiello, is standing by in Ottawa. So Rachel, when can Canadians expect to head to the polls?
Hey, Omar. So Canadians right now are slated to go to the polls October 20th, 2025. There's a push underway in Parliament right now to bump that back by 1 week in consideration for Diwali, but also MPs' pensions. But it's important to note that the election could come practically any time before then. And that's because we are currently in a minority parliament. The Liberals don't have this majority of seats, which means they could fall at a confidence vote practically at any time.
And how likely is that scenario to happen?
So in this current dynamic, fairly unlikely, Omar. That's because there's this unique agreement between the federal NDP and the Liberal government. It's called the Supply and Confidence Agreement. Essentially, this is injecting stability into a minority parliament. The NDP have agreed to prop up the Liberals on confidence votes, giving them the numbers they need to kind of stay alive in exchange for progressive policy. So as long as that deal stays in place, we're not looking for an election anytime soon. That deal, Omar, is in place until June 2025.
Now, we know, Rachel, that when you run a campaign, you need a lot of cash to be able to do that. As far as fundraising is concerned, who's ahead of the pack?
The Conservatives by a long shot. Quarter over quarter, they are out fundraising the other parties. They ended 2023, Omar, with more than $35 million raised compared to the Liberals' $15 million. So should an election be called at any time, they are certainly the best position from a fundraising standpoint.
So in a nutshell, Canadians can expect to head to the polls October 2025, unless the government falls on a non-confidence vote, which right now doesn't appear too likely to happen.
That's right. They've just survived the most recent one in the federal budget. So we're kind of watching this NDP Liberal deal play out to see if there could be a moment that the NDP decide to pull out early. But until that happens, until there is some major movement, I think Canadians can kind of look to October 2025, whether that is the current October 20th date, or perhaps if this piece of legislation passes, October 27th, as being when they head to the polls and cast their vote.